Armed men are seen walking in a deserted area with gunshots being heard. And the court noted that one of the men appeared to be Caucasian. This video ran for about 3 minutes. The third video that was played to court was Abu al-Zarqawi Eid Khatiba. According to the witness, this video ran for 1 hour 18 minutes and 15 seconds, but it was played in court and stopped after 42 minutes because of the length. The observations that were made by the court is that it started with Arabic statements which were translated to English. There were noted writings in the video as follows: martyred scholars, several faces were shown with their names. The second was imprisoned scholars, and several faces and names appeared on the screen. Then there was a long speech in Arabic which was given by a face identified as Abu al-Zarqawi, which was interpreted to English. In the video, there are several scenes of bombings of buildings and moving vehicles. There are scenes of shootings by men in uniform. The speaker talks of injustices being meted out on true believers and calls on true believers to act. He calls for jihad, which he says needs patience. He calls on those with strong hearts to come up. He advises that jihad must be irrigated with the blood of the righteous. Scenes of battle tanks are shown. And the background on a screen is showing 2 crossed rifles. The speaker mentions various men as courageous and having confronted sufferings. And he says that let them go through suffering and psychological suffering so that they know no peace. And he said that if they live in servitude, then they are slaves and not believers. Go through tests and tries to reach the high standards. Martyrs are special agents of Allah. And finally, fighting in jihad is ordained. He produced his report as an exhibit. In cross-examination, he said that, first of all, the laptop had been marked as MFI 32 and also 108, so MFI 32 was retained. He said that although his report had been initially dated 14th of September, this was an error because it ought to be 14th of October 2013. He, however, considered that the report he had given, a copy of the report he had given to the defense was dated 14th of September 2013. He also said that it had been erroneously indicated in the exhibit memo form that it was received on 1st of October 2013. He said that the laptop was taken to him in a black bag which was labeled HP. He was shown the compact laptop and he identified the serial number as follows. 5CB133XM3. However, on the exhibit memo form, the serial number was indicated as 55CB133XM3. And he considered that the numbers were not the same. However, he said he identified the laptop as the one that Pisimburu had presented to him. And in re-examination then, he said that the laptop that he examined is the one that he had received, and in the memo it had indicated that it was recovered from Mohammed Ahmed Abdi, the first accused person. The next expert witness is PW40 Chief Inspector Ernest Mariga. He's a scenes of crime expert. He takes photographs and dusts for fingerprints. He went to the Westgate shopping mall to do that work. He took photographs of the motor vehicle KAX575X that was outside the mall. The boot was damaged as it had been dismantled by the bomb experts. He said he took 40 photographs of that vehicle and kept them, and they were produced in a booklet, Exhibit 57. And he produced his report as exhibit number 58. Corporal Frank Anunda of CID headquarters is also a scenes of crime officer. And his work was to photograph the bodies that were at the city mortuary. And he took 49 photographs of the 44 bodies that were there at the time. He went back to Westgate Mall, and he says that among the investigative agencies that were present, there were some from the USA, Germany, Britain, and Israel. The scene was massive and part of the building had collapsed, and therefore it took them a lot of time to collect the documentation. I have outlined here what he did. Generally, I would say he gave evidence of the various items that he recovered, and he says on 17th October 2013, they recovered the 4 AK rifles, which serial numbers he had given. And he took 15 photographs of the collapsed basement of the scene. Other rifles were recovered from ashes. There were also 11 magazines which were recovered. Finally, he took photographs of human bones which were placed in 2 blue boxes. The first, there were 2 boxes, and he says that there were photos which were taken at the scene, while others were taken at the city mortuary. The next expert witness is Chief Inspector Mumo Shamala. Mumo Shamala is attached to Safaricom Law Enforcement Liaison Office. And he received a letter from Mr. B.N. Mwaniki of ATPU asking him to provide details on certain phone numbers associated with certain serial numbers of SIM cards. The 5 SIM cards whose holders had been found in the vehicle, he has indicated the numbers here. He explained what each of the digits in a SIM card series means. And according to his evidence, the first SIM card, which ended with a number, although I have reproduced the entire serial number, but for purposes of time, I'll only read the last 3 numbers. The first SIM card, which ends with number 907, was not active on the network. The second SIM card, which ended with number 221, was paired to mobile phone number 0726658736. Third, they ended with 563. It was paired to 0704 784 254. Fourth, ended with 335. It was paired to phone number 0712 743 260. The last SIM card, serial number ending 627, was paired to mobile phone number 0725 408139. He made his findings in a report produced as exhibit number 119. After he prepared that report and handed over, he was now on 27th of September asked to give the communication records in respect of these numbers that had been paired to those SIM cards. He said that he was able to generate the call data, including the subscriber details of the mobile phone lines as given. Phone number 0726-058736 was registered in the name of Mohammed Abdi Said, and he also generated the call data on 26th of September 2013. For the period 1st of June 2013 to 26th of September 2013, it was produced as exhibit number 121. PW43 explained that some of the Safaricom numbers are recycled, so that if one does not use a number for a long time, Safaricom may take it away and sell it to someone else. And he therefore said that this line was recycled. It had originally been issued to one Moses Otieno. The ID card was given. Mobile phone number 0704784254 was registered in the name of Abdullahi Dugon Subor. This one had only been registered once. The call data was given as Exhibit 122. Number 0712743260 was registered in the name of Abdikadir Abdisasid. This one had also been recycled as it was previously registered in the name of Rose Mukere. And the call data was given as Exhibit 46. Mobile phone number 0725408139 had been registered again in the name of Abdikadir Abdisasid. It was also a recycled number, having been previously issued to Njonge Wanjema. The call data was given as Exhibit 123. After providing those details of the subscribers and the call data record, he received another letter requesting him to provide communication records of some other numbers, which were 15. He provided them as four. He found that only 4 of them were relevant, and he provided the subscriber details as well as the call data. Number 0717905559 was registered in the name of Mohammed Ahmed Abdi, the first accused person herein. The call data was given as Exhibit 125. Number 0726010368 was registered in the name of Liban Omar of ID number 548799. Who is the second accused person in this case? Number, the call data is Exhibit 126. Number 0725692951 was registered in the name of Hassan Mustafa of ID number 5551670, and it had been registered once, and that is the 4th accused person. It was produced as Exhibit number 127, that is the subscriber and call data details. And the 4th number 0721355507 was registered in the name of Adan. And the call data was also given as Exhibit number 128. The next expert witness is Sergeant Paul Maingi of the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. At the time of this case, he gave his credentials as an investigator, which is running almost into one full page. I'll skip that one. but he has done a lot in terms of training on investigations. He said he worked with Chief Inspector Ogeto and Corporal Musyoki, amongst many other investigators. He prepared a report, a huge report, called Westgate Terror Attack Report, produced as Exhibit 130. He prepared the report in PowerPoint format and presented to the court in the form of slides. He started by saying that he did an analysis of the cell phones of the movement of the terrorists from the morning of 21st of September 2013 from Isli to Westgate. They were doing this by analyzing the numbers paired, the phone numbers paired with the SIM card holders, which had been recovered from the car. Together with data records that were obtained from Safaricom. This witness gave very lengthy and detailed evidence. I'll pick out the germane bits. I will leave out the others because it's a lot. So, phone number 0712743260 and 0725408139. He said these two lines were active at Westgate Mall during the attack. And when you trace back, you will find that their SIM card holders were recovered from inside the car. Mobile number 0712743260, whose SIM card I've said was recovered from the car, was activated on 18th of September 2013 at 12:30 hours at Isli. This was only 3 days before the attack. And he says that when you look at the call data record, you will see that line moving from Isli 6th Street to Westgate Mall on 21st of September 2013. It communicated while in the mall at 1347. Number 0725408139 was also activated on 18th of September 2013, again in Isli. On 21st, the day of the attack, it was geolocated moving from Isli 3rd Street through Pangani Dominion That geolocation is done by looking at the calls made at the particular points as indicated in the call data record. This number was in contact with 0712-743-260, 0724-676907, 0724-676850, 0718-298936, and together with other Somali numbers. This number communicated on the material date. The last communication was on the material date 21st of September 2013 at the Westgate Mall at 5 p.m. Number 0724676907 was activated on 17th of September in Isli. It also communicated, I'm cutting short that, it also communicated to, I'm cutting out that to leave the time and whatever that is here. It also communicated while within the Westgate Mall. And it also made contact with a Norwegian number. Number 0724676850 was activated on the very day, 21st of September 2013 at 0844 hours at Isli. It is geolocated moving from Isli, Kirigodi Street, then Pangani, then to Westgate. This number had several communications with Somali numbers during the Westgate attack. But its last communication was 2 days after that, on 23rd of September 2013. It was still within the Westgate Mall area. Number 0718298936 was activated on 17th. Now, this number made calls to 0725408139 at 3:53 hours, that is 3 a.m. in the morning on 21st of September 2013. On the same date, at 4 a.m., that is 4:43 a.m., this number was geolocated moving from Isli, then Madari Hospital, then Garissa, then to Wajir. And this number was in constant communication with the cell phones which were used by the attackers, whose SIM card holders and were found in the motor vehicle. It last communicated at 17 hours within Wajir Baraza Park area. So according to the analysis of PW43, he formed the opinion that number 0718298936 was the coordinator, because when you look at the communication, you will find that he woke up all the other numbers, which numbers were located to have been within the Westgate Mall, and then it started moving to Wajir, where it was finally located. The next material number is 0724676907, which, according to PW43, was being used by Hassan Mohammed Duhulo. And he says that he obtained the photograph from Uganda airport, the pieces, and that he had traveled and he had entered in and out of Kenya. And according to the communication data, he was able to find that Hassan Mohammed Duhulo was communicating with the other attackers as well as some Somali numbers, as seen on the call data record for that number. There is also communication with the Norway number 4733613205. Now, this number, according to Safaricom records, was under the name Abdullahi Ali. Mobile number 0718298936, the one that we have said was indicated to be for the coordinator, was under the name Abdullahi Ali. Duhulo called it 8 times, while that number called Duhulo six times on the material day. Now, mobile number 0724676850 was used by Ahmed Hassan Abukar, one of the attackers. It was found, the SIM card holder was found inside the car. (072540888139) was being used by Yahya Osman Ahmed, who was the 4th attacker. And the 4th number used by the person who was the 4th attacker is 0712743260, Mohammed Abdi Noor. And PW3 prepared a chart that showed all these communications. Now, there is indication of how each of these numbers was communicating with the other. The first number being 0724676907, 0724628850, the one we have said, is indicated to have been for Ahmed Hassan Abukar. The third mobile number was 0725408139 for Yahya Osman Ahmed. And the 4th mobile number was 0712743260, Mohammed Abdi Noor. The SIM cards indicated that they were, SIM card holders were recovered from the car. And PW43, in his testimony, in his charts, and in his charts that he had produced here together with his slides, was able to link how the terrorists were communicating. The call data records will also show how they were communicating, the numbers were communicating with the accused persons. PW44 is Sergeant Paul Mumo. I have given the evidence of Sergeant Paul Mumo as he has analyzed the evidence of all these witnesses. PW45 PW45 was the Chief Investigating Officer, Assistant Superintendent of Police at that time, Charles Ogeto. He started by indicating that at the material time he was the officer in charge of the Nairobi detachment of the ATPU. He was also a lead investigator in this case. And his detachment was in charge of carrying out investigations after the attack. He says many officers worked under him, including DCIOs from Nairobi. There are also foreign investigators from Norway, from the FBI, from Uganda, and many other countries. He has recounted the scene as given by the other witnesses, so I will not belabor it. The material issue there is that a motor vehicle registration number KAS 575X Grey Mitsubishi Lancer Saloon, believed to have been used by the attackers, was recovered inside the mall, and photographs of it were produced. Various items were recovered from the vehicle. Now, according to the investigators, they were able to establish that the buyer of the vehicle was one Abdikadir Hared Mohammed. However, in my analysis of the evidence, in the whole analysis of the evidence, I have not seen any witness who was saying this, other than this officer saying that that is what they established, because as we go on, we will note that Abdikadir Hared Mohammed was not even indicated as one of the people who signed the sale agreement. So, according to this, yes, sorry. And Abdulkadir Hared Ahmed, according to investigators, was working as a madrasa teacher at the third accused person school called Tul Salma Al Faris. And this Abdikadir was not arrested. Insurance of the vehicle was purchased by one Abdullahi Sugor, as we have seen. And Abdullahi Sugor was also not traced. His phone number was 0718090577. And his number is said to have been used by Ahmed Hassan Abukar, who was identified as one of the attackers and a brother to the second accused person. So using that information, the second accused person was traced and arrested, and the Nokia phone 305 Asha maroon in color Exhibit 141 was recovered from him. The investigating officer has said that this handset was used by Abukar. The phone, that is the handset, was linked to phone number 0718090777, which was given as the contact for the insurance cover for the motor vehicle. So using this number, the IMEI of that phone was then traced to the second accused person. According to PW45, evidence has been able to establish communication between the attackers and Fartun Harmoud, who was PW28. Abdinur also communicated with Abukar, one of the attackers who perished, using phone number 0722601499. On 24th of June 2013, Mohammed Abdinur called Mohammed Abdi, who is the first accused person, and they spoke for 109 seconds. And he also spoke to Abdikarid Hared, who was identified to have been staying with the third accused person as a madrasa teacher, and whom the investigators insist was used in the purchase of the motor vehicle, but I didn't get that evidence. Now we have a witness number 46, Bernard Wanjao Taiku, who is a fingerprints expert. And this witness generally gave evidence in relation to the third accused person that, in fact, his register of registration was found at the offices of the National Registration Bureau. Now I'll move to the defense case. Each of the accused persons made a sworn statement in defense and denied that they committed the offenses. The first accused person, Mohammed Ahmed Abdi, is from Garissa County. That is what he said. And he said that before his arrest, he was living in Isli 9th Street. He was a madrasa teacher at 12th Street. He denied all the charges and said that he heard of the Westgate attack after being arrested. He said that the fourth accused person was known to him in the year 2011. That he owned a shop in Hong Kong shopping mall in Isli. He got to know the second accused person while at the police station. And he has said that his relationship with the fourth accused person was only as a seller and a buyer, nothing else. He also said that he knew the attacker, who was identified as Mohammed Abdinur, because he was his brother-in-law. He was to marry his sister Rahma. He knew him in 2013 and he used to communicate with Abdinur through his phone 0726658736. And he conceded that the phone records that were shown here indeed showed that he had communicated with that number severally. But that, however, their communication ended when he introduced him to his sister to marry. He said that he never facilitated the accommodation of any of the terrorists. He considered that he was arrested at the junction of Kitale town, and he said he was traveling to Kakuma refugee camp to see his brother Ali Ahmed Abdi, who was living there and operated a retail shop. He says he was arrested together with two Sudanese nationals and they were blindfolded and their luggage taken. He says the only luggage he had on him was a bag and a phone, which were taken. He never saw the bag again until the time was being interrogated in Nairobi. He said he refused to sign the inventory because it included a laptop that he did not have. He said his bag had clothes and it was not the one that was brought before the court that had the laptop. which was a black HP bag. He says that he was transported by Officer CP Gabriel Latingoi, but he did not testify in court, but that's not correct. That officer testified. The second accused person, Liban Abdullahi Omar, said that he's a Somali refugee, stays in Kenya with his through his alien ID, which he surrendered to the arresting officer. He identified his mother and siblings who were in court at the time of testimony, saying that his mother lived at Kakuma refugee camp. He said that Ahmed Hassan Abukar was his brother, but he did not know where he is because he disappeared before the Westgate attack on 20th of September 2013, and he had not seen him since. He said that he did not know the first accused person and he did not participate in any conspiracy. He only met him after he was arrested. He said he did not know the other attackers, the other quality to be attackers at the Westgate mall, including Mohammed Abdi Noor, Hassan Abdullahi. For this witness, in the analysis of the communication, that is Exhibit 4, the investigating officers alleged that he was communicating with the four attackers through his phone number 072601010368. He said he was arrested while working at Garissa Lodge, 4th Street. He conceded that the call data showed that he communicated with one person who was his brother, Ahmed Hassan Abukar. He said he used to help his brother with the family business. And he did not know anything that his brother did. He said he did not know everything that his brother was doing. So in cross-examination, that's when he conceded that DNA evidence showed that one of the attackers, that Abukar, was his brother. Hussein Mustafi was witness number 3, but he is accused number 4. He also said that he is a refugee from Somalia. He gave his alien ID. He was selling clothes at Hagadera refugee camp when he was arrested. He said he did not know Yahya, Duhulo, Hassan Abukar or Harith. However, he used to know one of the attackers, Abdi Noor. He said that they attended Gambala Primary School together and they used to play football together. Later in 2013, he met Abdi Noor at Isli. He denied that he was at Westgate on the day of the attack. He identified Abdi Noor from photos that he was shown. Now, the first and second accused persons called Chief Inspector Francis Mwai, who produced the OB from Milimani police station where they had been taken after arrest. Now, submissions. The prosecution and the defense made submissions both at the close of the case for the prosecution and at the close of the case for the defense. And I'll analyze now the evidence as I look at the submissions. The prosecution concedes that their evidence is majorly hinged on the communication data between the accused persons and the alleged terrorist attackers. And according to the prosecution, the crucial leads to the communication were heard from the motor vehicle used to ferry the attackers to the scene. And motor vehicle registration number KAS 575X was recovered at the scene. I am satisfied that indeed that motor vehicle, from the evidence that has been given herein, was the operational motor vehicle for the attackers. Muimi Kiteme, PW14, gave evidence that he saw this car as he came from the Westgate shopping mall driving at Toyota Town S after delivering some goods to Nakumatt supermarket. According to him, about 4 or 5 people alighted from this motor vehicle and started shooting sporadically. He later identified the vehicle in the photographs that were shown to him. Five SIM cards were recovered from this vehicle, after which the mobile phone numbers associated with 4 of them were established. It is the defense submission that the accused persons have not been shown to have been associated with any of these SIM cards. However, the mobile phone numbers associated with those SIM cards have been shown as having been used by the attackers to communicate with some of the accused persons on their mobile phone numbers. And the prosecution has outlined the instances of these communications in a very elaborate piece of evidence in the form of call data records. Phone number 0726-658-658-736 has been shown to have communicated with the number 0179055599 belonging to the first accused person about 226 times between June 2013 and 26th of August 2013. The prosecution referred the court to the case of Hania Said Sagor, which had been cited by the defense, and says that that case made reference to SMS and phone calls, and the court held that, although the court held that it was insufficient, but the prosecution in this case called upon the court to infer on the nature and the frequency of the communication between these numbers and find that, in fact, the accused persons were culpable. So their case was based on a pattern of frequency that made a strong inference of collaboration between the accused persons and the attacker Abdinur. It's alleged that one of the accused persons provided accommodation for that attacker besides the communication. The prosecution relies on the case of Mugambi versus Republic 2017, which states that circumstantial evidence can be relied on if it met the required threshold. They have also cited the case of Rex versus Kipkering, Arab Koske, and another, where the issues of circumstantial evidence have been dealt with. I have reproduced the relevant holdings here, but I will not go into it. And the prosecution submits, therefore, that it has met the threshold of reliance upon circumstantial evidence to found a conviction against the accused person. The prosecution calls the defenses by the accused persons as stories that have been made up and incredible. The prosecution has discounted in their submissions the denial by the accused person that he was found in possession of a laptop with incriminating information, and said that PW44 gave evidence of the recovery of the laptop with incriminating material, and saw the evidence. So they were able to prove the ingredients of the offense under Section 9A of the Prevention of Terrorism Act. The prosecution submits with respect to the second accused person that according to evidence produced in court from the call data record, he spoke the most number of times with the third attacker, Ahmed Hassan Abukar. And we'll be looking at the number of times that that communication was done. That was not denied. They also argue that he also spoke to the first attacker, Abdinur, and the second attacker, Duhulo, on 18th of September, just a few days prior to the attack, and we shall also be looking at that. They therefore connect him to the attackers through the phone calls that were made. So the prosecution discounts the defense taken by the second accused person that this was because he used to share his mobile handset with his said brother Abukar. And what is material according to them is the line that was used in the communication and not the handset. Mr. Mbugu, I'm ready for the first, second, and third accused persons, and Mr. Chachamita for the fourth accused persons file submissions, both for no case to answer, and also at the close of the case for the defense. With respect to count number 1, Commission of a Terrorist Act, both learned counsel submit that none of the evidence of the prosecution witnesses places any of the accused persons directly or indirectly at the scene of the attack at Westgate Shopping Mall. With Mr. Mrevi, learned counsel submitting that according to PW44 Sergeant Paul Maingi, the mobile phone data analyst, and PW45 ASP Charles Ogeto, the lead investigating officer, there were 4 attackers involved, and all of them perished in the attack. On the charge, on the second count of conspiracy to commit a terrorist act, learned counsel submit that that is Mr. Mbugua Mrevi, that the charge is incurably defective for failing to indicate the genre of the conspiracy that was charged as placed under Section 23 of POTA, that is Prevention of Terrorism Act. But I wish to respectfully disagree with learned counsel that submission that this section creates distinct offenses. To me, the various subsections are explanatory of what constitutes a conspiracy to commit a terrorist act rather than creating distinct forms of conspiracy. I will therefore find the case cited by learned counsel Mr. Mbugua of Kipkurui, Arab Sigilai, and another versus Republic is not applicable in the present circumstances. Learned counsels have further submitted that the ingredients of the charge of the offense of conspiracy have not been proved against the accused persons, and he cited the following authorities. He set out 3 cases: Christopher Fula Makoha versus Republic, Republic versus Wycliffe Mwilu Mutinda, and Libazi versus South Africa. That is a South African decision. Setting out the ingredients of the offense as exposed in the above decisions, learned counsel submits that none of the prosecuting witnesses laid evidence to show that there was any agreement, consent, intention, meeting, or planning of the conspiracy between the first, second, and third accused persons among themselves or with the other indicated in the charge sheet as not before court. And learned counsel, Mr. Chacha, says that indeed there was no indication of any meeting or planning between the 4th accused person and the other 3 accused persons. And learned counsel further submits that there was no evidence laid to establish where the alleged conspiracy was hatched. Excuse me. And any of the accused persons during the surveillance or during the attack. Learned counsel submit that there is no evidence of communication between the first, second, and third accused persons and any of the alleged attackers or his co-accused in this case. So learned counsel submit that in any case the communication link is weak and incapable of proving the charges. They cite the case of David Wahome Wanjohi versus Republic on circumstantial evidence. So learned counsel submit that the circumstances of this case do not meet the threshold and unstated in the said decisions. With respect to the second accused person, Mr. Mbugua Mreithi submits that ASP Charles Ogeto gave evidence that one of the alleged attackers was a brother or a stepbrother to the second accused person, and this is a coexisting circumstance that will weaken the circumstantial evidence of telephone conversations between him and the attackers, as this will point to family conversations. With respect to the third accused person, the investigating officer in his case said that he was an employer of one Harid Abdul Qadir Mohammed, who is alleged to have been linked to the purchase of the subject motor vehicle that was used in the attack, and therefore the communication between them would be innocent employer-employee relationship. Both learned counsel submit that there was no evidence laid to prove that the first, second, and fourth accused persons knowingly gave any support to the persons who are named in the charge sheet as the attackers. Mr. Mbugua Mreithi further submits that there is no evidence that links any of his clients, that is the first, the third accused persons, with the motor vehicle KS 575X, which was at the center of the attack. He says the said motor vehicle was not made available to court as an exhibit, and this, according to learned counsel, was suppression of evidence by the prosecution and should be construed adversely against the prosecution. However, in my analysis of the evidence, although the physical vehicle was not made available to court, photographs of the vehicle taken at the scene were produced in court and identified by witnesses who saw it at the scene. Although PW1 did not identify it properly, he all the same said he saw a vehicle from which the terrorists emerged. PW14 was able to identify that vehicle, and therefore the fact that the vehicle was indeed there and was used by the attackers cannot be disputed. There is also evidence from police witnesses whom I have outlined indicating what role they played who responded to the incident, and also those who conducted investigations, who have given evidence that the vehicle remained at the scene and several exhibits were recovered from it. Therefore, the submission that there was suppression of evidence by failure to produce the motor vehicle is rejected. Learned counsel for the fourth accused person, Mr. Chacha Mwita, submits that none of the witnesses who attended the scene was able to link the fourth accused persons directly to the attack. In other words, learned counsel submit that there is no eyewitness who saw the fourth accused person at the scene of crime. Now, the other evidence adduced in support of the charges, that is the purchase of the vehicle allegedly used by the attackers, the purchase of the insurance for the said vehicle, and the exhibits recovered at the scene did not in any way link the accused person, the fourth accused person, to the incident, submits Mr. Chacha. Learned counsel, Mr. Chacha, further submits that the officers who arrested the fourth accused person and allegedly recovered the phone from him were not called as witnesses, and this creates a gap in the prosecution's case as to how the fourth accused person is connected to the offenses through his mobile phone. Learned counsel invites the court to consider the case of Cosmas Mate Kinyanzi versus Republic, where the court held that it is tried law that when the prosecution failed to call a material witness, they do so at their own risk. Now,